planters, and as you can see, they just are totally falling apart. Not very good quality, but they serve their purpose. They'll be going in the trash after this. So the first thing I usually do when I'm going to plant something, make sure your container has holes in the bottom. These ones do not have holes in the bottom. Actually, I believe I got these from the dollar store, and what really attracted me to them are that there are also trays you can buy with them. They're separate, of course, you can buy them separately, but they're a nice color. And since I have a covered porch in that ramp, I don't really want all that water and muck when I water them just running straight onto the paint and onto the porch. So I'm going to drill some holes in the bottom of this. I'm going to use this tray to contain the water. And ginger, you don't really have to go crazy watering it, so it's not that big of a deal if you kind of slowly water it. So I'm not really worried about water spilling over. I'll just take my time with it. Water it like twice a week probably. It just depends on the weather. If the weather is really dry, you probably have to water it more. But yeah, so we'll get started. Make sure you have a drill that's got a decent sized drill bit on the front. You don't want one that's too small, otherwise the water will take too long to drain and it might clog up at the bottom and just create rooting problems and ruin your plants. So make sure you have good drainage. And since we have two of them, we're going to do two at the same time. It might be a little more sloppy this way. The holes might punch out a little bigger, but I don't really care about that. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Now, dollar store buckets are notorious for cracking when you're putting this drill bit through. They will crack. They'll break apart. Not the greatest, but as you can see, that one's not so bad. So I'm going to trust that this process is going to work on this one. Don't have to be too gentle, but other ones you're going to probably not want to do more than one at a time. My drill is low on battery, so it's being a little slow. Oh, that sounded like a crack. Yep, as you can see, the bottom of that second bin is cracked. I'm not going to worry too much about it, but I'm definitely not going to hit it there again. I'm going to leave that spot alone. Now if I really cared and I wanted to take really good care of this, like I said, I would do one at a time and I would take it nice and slow, nice and straight. I was kind of, pushing that really hard and it slammed it down into there. Okay, that one I took slower. And it was fun. It was the pushing that actually broke it, not the drilling itself. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So I have just a few holes in the bottom, not too many. Alright, so step one with the ginger. This is some of my soil, by the way, that I've been doing this soil for a few years. It's been fertilized, it's got some biome going on in there, natural biome. It's kind of built up, got a lot of organic matter. And just a quick side note, what I like to do is actually, I'll get a really good bag, it's not too expensive, a really good bag of compost. And I'll go half compost, half potting soil. Works super well. I mean, you can plant directly in compost, a lot of people don't know that. But for me, definitely in these pots, I'm going to want it to be looser, so I'm definitely going to use some good potting soil. And the potting soil is important. You want it to be very loose, very high quality. You don't want it to be too chunky, anything like that. So this is what I've got now. It's been compacted, so I'm going to loosen it up. I'll give you a look at it. It's a pretty good consistency. And I'm just going to start filling these up. When you're planting ginger, you want up to 12 inches of soil. I mean, it doesn't have to be that much, but the roots do shoot down, so it helps it. We're just going to add, probably just on this, we're going to add up to the line. That way when I water, it doesn't spill over the top. And I'm not worried about exactly 12 inches. In gardening, you'll find that those are recommendations, and depending on what you're doing with your plants, how you're growing them, depends on what you're going to do. So you don't really have to worry about exactly having 12 inches of soil. And let's be real, like, gardening is fun. Like, why do we do gardening? You know, it's therapeutic for some people. It's something you can do to take your mind off of other things when you have a stressful week or whatever, but just sitting in the garden, enjoying it, especially if you live in a dry environment that's brown and just arid, having a garden is just super nice. And that's what I found. I used to live in Carson City, and that's what started me gardening. I was working at a funeral home at the time, and I actually got pretty severely depressed in that job. I was a crematory operator for a couple of years, and just got me thinking about, honestly, thinking about death a lot, because you deal with it every day. You deal with people in their lowest moments, and you always want to comfort them. But when you're in that moment, is there really comfort? Sometimes, religion can help us feel comfort. Family can help us feel comfort. Perspective is really important. But you know what? We're human. We have emotions, and in my opinion, a lot of those things help us block our emotions. We do things to try to block our emotions and our responses, but it doesn't always work. So gardening for me ended up working really well. So that's the long story short. But I tend to explain things a lot, so you'll find that with my videos that I won't just go from A to B, and I go A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Sometimes all the way to Z. So you'll get used to that. I think that's about enough. As you can see, it's nice and loose in here. I don't like to pack my soil down because it just inhibits the plant growth. And like I said, I'm not perfectly at 12 inches, but what I'm doing right now is I'm going to add the ginger. I'm going to space it probably about every 4 inches. Really, you should have 6 to 8 inches if you really want to spread. But I got a bunch of little pieces here, and that's not really my main goal. I'm living by myself. My kids sometimes are here most of the week, so they're not really going to eat the ginger. I will, but my goal is not to get the most crop. My goal is to enjoy the plants and to have them on my porch just to enhance the beauty and enhance my life. And when I water this soil, it's going to sink down, so I'm going to lose maybe even up to an inch. Don't really care too much about that. The thing about ginger, you're going to plant it kind of on the surface, and then you're going to sprinkle over the top. So as that soil drains down and it sinks down and compacts naturally, I'll just go ahead and I'll throw more soil in, like an inch or two. And you don't even have to cover it all the way, just get it covered just enough so you can barely see it. And actually today, I'm going to start with this one, because I've been growing this for a while. It's ready, I think. And this is kind of my main plant here. And as you can see, it's very packed, too packed. So we're going to give it some space so it can actually spread out. So this one, there's not a root coming out of this one, but you can see it's sprouting. Whereas this other one actually has a root going down. So this first one I'm going to take, I'm just going to place it into this soil right about here. And I'm making sure I'm leaving some space around the edge so it can spread out. I think I'll just kind of rock it down in a little. See, I didn't cover it all the way. When I'm done, I'm probably just going to shift the soil around a little bit. Okay, this one, whenever I remove something from a pot, I kind of like to push on the edges just to loosen that soil, because you don't want it to be too tight. There's a root down in there, and I'm afraid if I pull up, it's going to rip that root, so I'm going to be gentle. Let's see. There's definitely a root down there, so I'm going to use my tool. Down in there. Loosen it up without breaking it. Gently sift the soil. Kind of just fell out. That's fine. It's not hurt. It's okay. And I had it potted in some, I think it was a Miracle-Gro succulent soil that looked really good. It was really cheap at the time in big bags, so I just ended up getting a bag of it. And at the time I'd run out of my other soil, so I just ended up using that. It's really drains well, so it's good. So my other root is right here. I think I'm going to put this one opposite and take a look at this. Before we plant that, take a look at the roots growing in right there. This one is ready to rock. It's going to be a really good plant. Be careful not to damage the roots on any plant when you put them in. Some plants, it's not that big of a deal, but generally, you know, the roots are where they get the nourishment from, right? So if you damage those roots, you're going to inhibit that plant, so you don't want to do that. Right now, I'm not touching the roots. I've got it nice and loose here. I'm going to kind of use this as a guide so the soil doesn't fall off the roots. I'm going to put it like this. That. Give it a little push. Just tap it. And I'm just going to cover it back up. Alright, there we go. Happy about that one. So I've got one here, one here. So since this one is so advanced in its growth, I'm going to go ahead and add some of these ones that have not really done anything yet, and they're just starting. And when I pulled that one out, I felt a little bit of a tug, which means that there was a tiny root growing on there, and I tugged it off. No big deal. It's in that stage where it's going to start rooting more. So yeah, I may have lost like a little progress there, but it's not going to harm me more than a day or so probably. It's just starting. I'll go ahead and show it to you. So this is one that's just starting. You can see it's got the little nubs on it. Make sure you plant it like this so the nubs are facing in a direction where they're going to grow upwards. Otherwise, it's going to have to work really hard to turn those around. There's an event happening today, so you can hear some fire trucks honking, some different things. I don't know what it is, maybe a protest or something, but it's right near my house. Alright, I think I'll put this one right here in this corner. I'm only going to plant 4 in this one, because like I said, I've got those big ones, right? Let's see what other ones we got here. Here's one. I'll squeeze this one first so I don't do that again. Like last time when I damaged that little root. Oh yeah, this one's got a nice root coming in. I'm going to put this one over here. Like this. Cover that one. There we go. Okay, I'm thinking there's a little, it looks like there's a little room over here, but that's actually occupied by that large root that's already in there. Generally people break these apart and let them dry before planting them. As you can see, I broke the little ones apart, but I left some bigger pieces. So I'm going to leave those bigger pieces alone and not mess them up. Definitely not going to plant right in the middle, because naturally they're going to head towards the middle, because it's an inch container. Looks like I have some marigold seeds in this soil, because, you know, in the garden, especially if you leave your marigolds out and they dry out, the seeds generally go everywhere, and that's kind of one of my go-to plants to spread things out in the garden. If I have an empty spot, just go find one of those marigold stems, pull the flower out where it's all dried, and just spread those seeds in the soil, and I got marigolds. And I just moved this place code, so that's kind of what I'm doing. And I'm thinking ahead. I should probably take this one out and put it in here. Since this one's been growing a while, I think it's a good idea to put it in the other container, because I don't want this container to grow super slow, since all the other ones are brand new, right? They're just starting. So I'm going to take one of these out of here and put it in there, since I have this really nice one already growing. Alright, let's choose a good one. Let's take a good one out. It's pretty good. Feel the root on that. I'm just going to rip this off because I don't really care. It's definitely a root. Don't wreck it. Oh yeah. It's got some nice roots. I'm going to clean the portion out of the field. Stick this right here. Give some space so it can grow up out of there. And that's my they are well drained, because when you're working with container plants, you do not want thick soil. You do not want soil that can really clump up with a lot of clay in it. It's going to kill your plants. It's going to stunt their growth. It's not good. I mean, obviously there's some plants who would love it, but you want to be able to control the moisture. That's the main thing. You don't want a bucket that's going to hold moisture for a whole week. That's bad news. Control the moisture by having looser soil. Alright, we're going to need some more. So I'm just going to pull out this bucket right here. And since this is ginger roots, I'm going to choose one of my soil buckets that probably doesn't have as much perlite, probably a little less loose. I don't really care that much. This is more ornamental for me. Obviously, I'm going to eat it too. I love ginger. But like I said, it's about the joy for me. I'm not like... When I started gardening, I took everything so serious. You know, like that one tomato sprout that comes up, it dies. And that's like, to me, that was like a big deal, right? But, you know, the more I've gotten into gardening, you know, you take wins and losses as they come. There's a lot of variables in nature, things that happen. You're going to lose some of your plants. Some of them are going to be stunted. They're not going to be as good. Seeds are going to be better. Some seeds are going to be better. You just never know. So don't take anything too seriously. You lose a plant, you lose a plant. And you learn. Why did that plant die? What can I do to save this plant? This plant looks like it's not doing too well. What can I do to help this plant? Try different things, split things up. Go to your garden center, and I'm not talking like the big box stores. I mean, go to like a greenhouse where there's a real professional there. You can get access to somebody just quickly, tell them the situation, show them a picture, ask them, and maybe they'll be willing to give their advice. Usually they'll sell you something to help. But yeah, that's how, when I first started, I learned a lot by doing that, so that's a good way to do it. This soil is very thick, so I had some bulbs potted in this one before, I remember. So this one does hold a little more moisture, but it'll be good because it's very fertile soil, and I'll get to see the difference between this container and this very loose container, and we'll see what the plant likes, and that will help me learn and know what to do next year. So if things are different in gardening, you get different variables, don't split it too much. As long as you know for sure it's not going to damage the plants, it's fine. So you learn just by experience. You're going to make mistakes. Nature's going to get in the way. Bugs are going to get in the way. But as you experience those things, you learn how to deal with them and adjust. That was really rich soil. I can smell that. I think those bulbs actually, one year they froze and they died. So the bulbs were in the soil and they've been decomposing for a couple of years. So it's really just, it's got all this plant matter, roots, bulbs, it's all rich. I'm going to go ahead and stick this one down in this corner over here. Slightly bury it. I'm going to see how many of these I can get in here. I might not use all of them. This one looks pretty good. It's small, but it's doing good. This one's doing well, so I'm going to start with these. This one is not really doing much. I can see it's got a little growth. I'm just going to cut off the side. This one's not doing too well. This one's barely going. This one's okay. But these two for sure. These are going in. And cracked out a little bit. Oh, it's breaking. Yeah, it's got roots, so I don't want to damage that. It's going to be kind of hard. I'm just going to try to get it out like that. Okay. Perfect. And there's actually two of them in here, so I'm going to separate those. Add that soil in. No big deal. Yes. Add this soil in. Add it. Just get the rest of that in there. Alright. See, this one's growing at this angle. I think it's because when it was planted, it just kind of ended up when I was watering it, it kind of shifted. It's a small plant, so it shifted with watering. I'm going to plant it like this because the top is actually shriveled. There's no life in this part where my finger is. So I'm going to plant it down, straight down in the corner over here. That will just allow that plant to grow straight up. You don't want to plant it on its side because then the plant has to adjust, and that takes time and energy, right? That's my thoughts. That's my opinion, my experience. Now, I'm not a master gardener. If someone tells you something else, that's fine. You can try either way. This way works. Okay, this one's got great roots. We're going to put it kind of near that small one because that one's going to take forever to grow. It's tiny. We're going to use this one right here. Make sure you plant it facing up. Get this one out of here. There we go. Alright, let's take a look at this one. We got some good roots. Not bad. We'll take this one into this corner over here. Put some soil over it. It's very windy. Hope you can hear me. Alright, we're going to take the rest of these plants, we're going to take a look at them. That one's nice and strong, but it only has one little thing on it, so we're going to look at some other ones. This one is small, but it's got pieces coming off all the way around, so that's a good bet. This one's got some big chunks coming off, very small though. This one, I'm not as happy about that one, so I'm going to take this one. I'm going to take this big one, even though it's not got a lot going on. It's got a lot of potential, so I'm going to keep that big, chunky one. These two, though, these definitely have quite a bit of potential. Let's stick this nice one in this corner over here. I just got to make sure I put it the right way. Yep, like this. It's hard to see when they're little like that. You got to pay close attention. Alright, so I have one there. I'll take this one and stick it right in the center here, center edge, and then for this one, I'll stick it right in the middle, right there. And I only have one left. It doesn't make sense to just throw it away, so I'm gonna take it more towards this little piece right here in the corner. Get it planted right underneath that one, pretty much. Make that its own little area. Okay. Pretty good. Feel pretty satisfied with that. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the remaining soil. I'm going to mix it in with what I already have because I don't waste soil. Especially since this is very sandy, loose soil, succulent soil. It's going to provide some different types of nourishment and minerals to this thicker, more organic soil that I made myself. Organic's not the right word, also organic. Trying to say is this thicker, more rich, bulky, chunky soil like that over here, more composty, like thick. You get to loosen it up just a little bit. Make sure I get all of that out of there. There's a little bit stuck in the bottom sometimes. Alright, I think that's it. I'm just going to throw these little things away. I'll be keeping this one. This is a good one. It kind of wicks the moisture. And I guess I'll try to get a shot of these two here. They're going to end up on trays like this. I'll show you what they're going to look like. Sit on my porch like that. Probably not just like that, but that's just an example of basically what they're going to look like. It's kind of early in the season here. We're in southeastern Idaho, so I got some stuff going on. Just moved into this place. This is just my stuff for my old place, kind of shoved in here. Haven't done a lot with it yet. I got some trees growing, some different shrubs, obviously small trees that I had planted myself and kind of took care of over the years. Kind of a project I've got going on. And yeah, I'm excited about it, and hope you all all enjoyed my first video. Please comment, like, maybe even subscribe.